Every time you think about how to get your desire or why it hasn't happened or what you need to still do to get it, you're actually pushing it further away. Every time you wonder, will it happen? You're telling your subconscious it hasn't happened yet. Every time you ask yourself, what do I need to do to make this happen? You're accidentally casting your desire out into the future without even realizing it. And the future never comes, if you've noticed. You might have noticed. The future is always future, always tomorrow, always not now. We all do it. It feels productive. It feels like problem solving or working towards your desire. We got to work towards it and be productive and, right? This old thing. But you're actually creating the very delay that you want to avoid. In this video, I'm going to show you not only how to stop creating this delay, but also how to collapse time so that things start to move very quickly. If you're new here, hello, I am your Muse Traci. On this channel, I help you take your power back so you can live the life you've always imagined. You can stop settling for the unconscious and unwanted patterns that keep showing up in your reality because your world is your mirror and all change starts from within. So here's the problem. Here's the problem that I see so many people facing when they're manifesting, and I did too, so I can completely relate to how this feels. They set their intention, they visualize, they affirm, and then they wait. They wait for signs, they wait for movement, they wait for proof that it's working. Ah, the proof. And when they don't see the evidence that it's working, they try to figure out why they don't see the evidence yet, what they need to do more of to get it and make it happen. And every time they check, every time they wonder, when will it happen? Every time they look for evidence, they are actually aligning with the reality where it hasn't happened yet and accidentally perpetuating the cycle of more waiting, which is the last thing that you want, because waiting creates more evidence of waiting. Wondering where it is creates more evidence of wondering where it is. Wondering where it is also thinking from the end of not having it. You don't think, where is it, when you already have it, do you? So when you think from the end of not having it, that aligns you with more evidence that you don't have it. Think about it. When you think about your desire as something you have to do more to get or perform more affirmations or visualizations to achieve, what are you actually doing? You're living in the end of not having it yet. You're accidentally confirming that it's not here. And this is the important part. You don't have to do anything to make your desires happen. That's not your job. Your job is decide and believe. That's it. End of story, period. When you think you have to do something, you're creating a gap between you and your desire by solidifying yourself in the state of not having it yet. As long as that gap exists in your mind, it's going to exist in your reality. This is why people can do all the techniques perfectly and still see nothing move. They're doing the techniques, but they're still thinking from the place of not having and waiting for the evidence to show up. They visualize at night and then wake up in the morning wondering if it worked. Or if you're like me, you visualize in the middle of the day and then you get up and wonder if instantly everything is shifted. I totally used to do that. I learned the hard way that it doesn't work like that. People will affirm all day and then check their 3D to see if anything changed. They live in the end for a few minutes and then spend the rest of the day in the old story. That doesn't work. The entire time they're thinking about their desire as something that hasn't happened yet and something that they're trying to make happen and as something they haven't yet succeeded at making happen yet. And they continue to wonder, when will it all shift? And this is the problem because the future never comes, as I said before. The future is always future, always out there, always not now. And as long as you're relating to your desire as something in the future, it stays in the future. Now, before I get into the solution, I want to mention something that maybe you're thinking as you're watching this video. And that is, I've definitely manifested things from a place of this is what I get to have with absolute certainty and clarity. I know I get to have this. This is what is happening for me. And even though technically that is future tense, there was no doubting or thinking I had to do more to achieve more or heal more or clear more. I simply decided and knew that it was a done deal. And actually, I bet for most of you, you've done this too in one area of your life or another, where you just decide that this is how it is for you and you don't worry anymore. You just made a decision. You didn't try to make it happen. You just had certainty and clarity, even though, like me, it was technically in your future. It was future tense. So before you come at me and say, whatever, in the comments, yes, you can. But that's not really what I'm talking about in this video. I'm talking about when you think it's out in the future and you think you have to do more to make it happen, and you also don't have the conviction and the certainty and the decision that I was just talking about, okay? So that is a huge distinction that I wanted to make, and it's so important. Okay, so on to the solution. So here's the shift you can make happen right now in this moment that changes absolutely everything. Stop thinking about your desire as something that's going to happen. Start thinking about it as something that already happened. Not today, not right now, but in the past. Yesterday, last week, last month. Think about your desire the way you think about something that happened yesterday. When something happened yesterday, do you wonder if it happened? No, most of the time you don't. Do you look for proof? Do you doubt it? No, you don't do any of that. You simply know it already happened. You remember it. You remember it as a memory. That's the state you need to occupy with your desires that you're doubting, that you're trying to figure out how to get to make happen. When you think like it happened yesterday, everything that delays manifestations stops. You stop looking for proof because you already have the memory of it already happening. You stop wondering when because it already happened yesterday. You stop doubting because how can you doubt something you remember experiencing? This is what Neville meant when he said to live in the end, not to imagine it happening in the future. That's the end of not having it still. But what he meant is to remember it as already done and to live in the state of already having it, like 2 months into having it, as I talked about in a recent video. Your desire is not something you're trying to create, right? Creation is finished. It's already been created. It's something you're remembering and something that you're choosing. Let me give you an example. If you're manifesting a relationship with your specific person, stop thinking, when will they text me for the first time out of the blue, out of nowhere? When will they come back? right? These are not thoughts you would have from your end and if it happened yesterday, right? You wouldn't think those thoughts. So instead, think, we had such a good conversation. I'm so happy and I'm so relieved that we're together now. Not as something you're hoping for, as something you're remembering. If you're manifesting money, stop thinking, when will the money show up? What do I need to do more of to get the money to show up? Instead, think, I received X amount of money yesterday. I'm so grateful that that money showed up. So you think about it as a memory, as something that has already happened. And as I'm explaining these scenarios, can you feel the difference? One creates waiting, hoping, longing, figuring out, and one creates relief of already having. One keeps it in the future, and one brings it into the now by making it already happened in the past. And here's what's profound about this. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a real memory and an imagined memory. When you think about your desire as something that happened yesterday, your subconscious accepts it as fact. And when your subconscious accepts something as fact, your outer reality must reflect it. This is not pretending, this is deciding. You're deciding that it's already done, and you're thinking from that decision. Now, let's talk about what happens when you do this consistently. When you truly start thinking like your desires already happened yesterday. Time collapses in your experience, in the way you relate to your desire. Because here's what I've learned through my own journey and with my experience of working with so many clients. Any thought about time is really doubt. It's actually doubt. When you ask, when will it happen? That's doubt. When you wonder how much longer, that's also doubt. When you check the calendar, count the days, try to figure out timing, all of that is doubt, 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 disguised as, concern about time and planning. But it's really doubt. Because if you truly knew your desire was already done, would you be thinking about when? No. You just know it's done. You'd be relaxed. You'd be just resting in the relief and the relaxed state of it's already done. So here's the shift. Stop focusing on time and start focusing on certainty. If you don't have certainty right now, then create certainty. Time doesn't delay your manifestation. It's your lack of certainty that delays your manifestation. When you're uncertain, you create doubt, and doubt creates delay. Doubt is the gap between wanting and having. But when you cultivate unshakable certainty, you know without question that your desire is already yours, and time collapses because you're no longer creating the delay with your thoughts. You're no longer pushing it into the future with your doubt. You're simply knowing that it's done. And from that knowing, it shows up. Time collapses. Usually when people do this, they focus on their certainty. They just dispel all the doubts. Things shift so fast. I mean, so fast. So this is what I teach my clients. We don't work on the timeline. That's none of your business. And time is an illusion anyway, right? We work on certainty. We identify every thought, every belief, every concept in the mind that creates doubt, and we remove them. Because once all the doubt is gone, once certainty is all that remains, everything starts moving. Not in divine timing, not eventually, but now. So, one of my clients was manifesting her specific person. She'd been trying for 8 months, doing all the techniques, but nothing was moving. And when we started working together, I realized she was still thinking about it as something in the future. She still had all of this doubt, still wondering when, still checking for signs, still doubting if it was possible, if it was ever going to happen. So I said to her, stop thinking about it as something that's going to happen and start thinking about it as something that has already happened yesterday. Done deal. And at first she said, but it didn't happen yesterday. How can I think that? And I said, you're creating a memory, you're deciding it's already done, and thinking from that decision. So she started doing it every time her mind went to, when will it show up? She redirected to, it's already done. We were talking on the phone yesterday. It was so good to hear his voice, and we had the best conversation. Every time doubt came in, she replaced it with the memory of that conversation, of it already being done. And within a week, 1 week, everything shifted and the entire dynamic between them changed. Not because she did more techniques, it was because she stopped creating the delay with her thoughts. There is no delay that is needing to be there. The delay is self-created and self-perpetuated. So again, we're not focused on time. Focusing on time creates more time. So we shift the focus to certainty. Focusing on having certainty collapses time. And that's exactly what my client did. She collapsed time by becoming certain. So let me show you how exactly to apply this in a couple of steps. Step 1, identify where you're still waiting. Notice when you think about your desire as something in the future. Notice when you wonder when. Notice when you check for proof. All of these moments are where you're creating delays. Step 2, shift to it happened yesterday. Every time you catch yourself thinking about your desire as future directed, instead, when will it happen? You think it happened yesterday. Instead of, I hope it comes soon, you think, I'm so glad and relieved that it already happened. You create the memory and you think from the memory. Step 3. This is the deeper work. You have to identify what's creating the doubt in your mind. Is it past experiences? Things like, it never worked before, so why would it work now? Is it current circumstances? But I don't see any evidence. Is it programming or beliefs about yourself? I'm not worthy of this. It won't happen for me. Whatever is creating the doubt in your mind, that's what you need to address head on, because doubt is what is creating the time delay. I work with my clients to identify these doubt-creating beliefs, and we rewrite them. This is what I talk about all the time, the programming. We go into the programming and we change what's blocking their certainty. Because once the doubt is gone, once you genuinely know your desire is already done, time collapses. Step 4, you stay in this knowing. Now, this isn't a technique you do once and you're there forevermore. I wish it was that easy, but this is a way of thinking, a way of relating to your desire. You maintain the knowing that it already happened. You think from that place, you live from that memory, and every time your mind tries to take you back to waiting, wondering, doubting, you redirect back to the memory. You redirect back to yesterday where it already happened, back to it already being done. The more consistently you do this, the faster everything starts to move, because you're no longer creating the delay. You're creating certainty, and certainty collapses time. Let me be clear about something. This isn't about forcing yourself to believe something you don't believe. That Doesn't work. This is about understanding how manifesting truly works, understanding who you are in relation to your 3D reality. You are the operant power of your reality, and your 3D is only a mere reflection of your dominant beliefs and assumptions. This is about removing everything that blocks your natural state of knowing. Deep down, you already know your desire is yours. You already know it's done. You already know creation is finished and everything you want already exists. But programming, doubt, and old ways of being cover up that knowing. Programming covers it up. Old beliefs cover it up. Your societal conditioning and the way most people operate in the world covers it up. So the work is not to create certainty, it's to remove what's blocking it. And once the blocks are gone, once the doubt is cleared, what remains is pure knowing and unshakable certainty. And from that place, your desire has to show up. And like I said before, fast. Because there's no delay in certainty. There's no gap. There's no waiting. There's just knowing and having. This is why I focus so much on the programming work with my clients, because you can do all the techniques in the world, but if you haven't removed the doubt, you'll keep creating more delay. The techniques don't manifest for you. Your certainty does. And when you think like it happened yesterday, you bypass all the doubt. You step into certainty automatically because you can't doubt a memory. You can't wonder when something already happened. You can't wonder when something is going to happen that already happened. You can't create delay around something that's done. You just know it, and you just think from that knowing. That's when time collapses. That's when everything shifts. That's when your 3D catches up so fast, you'll wonder why you ever spent months waiting. So here's what I want you to understand. Time is not real, not in the way you think it is anyway. The moment you collapse time in your mind, the moment you stop thinking about when and start thinking from it being done, everything changes. Your desire isn't in the future. It's not something you're waiting for. It's already done. It already exists and is waiting for you to assume it into your reality, waiting for you to claim it as done, and waiting on you to stabilize in the place of already having it. Only then can it show up and manifest in your reality. Most people will hear this and still go back to wondering, still go back to checking for proof, still go back to creating delay with their thoughts. But not you. You're not most people. You're here watching this video because you're ready to collapse time, to stop waiting, and to step into certainty. So start today, right now. Think like it happened yesterday. Remove the doubt. Cultivate the knowing. And watch how fast everything shifts when you stop creating delay from your mind. If you want my help doing this deeper work, the work that allows you to create effortlessly in your reality by removing the doubt, building unshakable certainty, and collapsing time, if you want my help with any of that, it's the work I love to do with my clients. There's a link down in the description below. Click the link, it'll take you to my website, and you can learn more about my coaching program and about working with me. If you still have any questions, there's a link in the pinned comment, and you can click that link to book a free consultation with me. Thank you all so much for watching this one. I'll see you in the next video.